So, uh, you know that feeling when you walk into a room to grab something, cross the threshold, and your brain just totally wipes the slate
Oh,
clean?
yeah. The classic doorway effect. You just stand there looking at the fridge.
Right, exactly. You're just standing in the kitchen wondering why you were even there.
Well, I was thinking about that and comparing it to the papers we're looking at today for this deep dive.
Because if you think human memory is fragile, uh, quantum memory is on a whole other level.
It really is. I mean, imagine a memory so delicate that just looking at it causes it to self-destruct. Today, we are jumping into the hardware that is going to build the quantum internet.
Yeah, and it's a fascinating look at how we bridge the gap between flying light, which is great for moving data around, and stationary matter, which we absolutely need for processing it.
And before we get into the really sci-fi sounding architectures, let's just ground this for a second. Why is storing a quantum state so much harder than, just hitting save on a Word document? Well, it basically comes down to the no cloning theorem. In classical computing, if you want to send data, you just send a copy. The original stays right there on your hard drive. But quantum mechanics strictly forbids copying an unknown state.
Right, so you absolutely cannot back it up to the cloud.
You can't back it up, and you can't fax it either. You have to move the original, and to make it even harder, you can't even measure it to check if it arrives safely.
Because measuring collapses the state, right?
Exactly. You destroy the magic, the superposition, and the entanglement just by peeking at it.
So the mission here is to catch a flying photon, which is moving at the speed of light, and somehow halt it in a crystal without actually looking at it.
Which sounds completely impossible, but we are seeing some incredible physical implementations now. Like trapped ions are kind of the gold standard right now for keeping information coherent over time.
And they're also using NV centers in diamond, right?
Yeah.
Nitrogen vacancy defects.
Yes. They take a synthetic diamond and use a literal flaw in its lattice as a perfect trap for electron spins.
It is wild that an imperfection is what makes it work so perfectly. But wait, why do we need to store the light at all? Why not just let it fly through the fiber optics from A to B?
Signal loss. Light weakens over distance. With regular Wi-Fi, we just use boosters to amplify the signal. But remember the no cloning theorem.
Oh, you can't amplify because that requires copying it.
Precisely. So the signal just dies before it crosses the ocean. That is why we need quantum repeaters. They catch the dying photon, synchronize it with others to boost the connection, and then pass it along.
Which brings us to the core of the research today, the One-GNB system. One good memory and bad memories.
Right. It is essentially an entanglement buffer. You have one high-quality, long-lived memory to store the actual data. But to connect it to the network, you need to constantly generate new entanglement links.
So the bad memories are just short-lived scratchpads for those new links.
Yes. And this introduces what the papers call the purification dilemma.
To clean up the signal, right?
Yeah, you sacrifice some of those raw, messy links to increase the fidelity of your stored memory. But it is a massive gamble. If the purification fails, you don't just fail to upgrade, you destroy the stored quantum state entirely.
Wow, so you really had to choose between keeping a mediocre connection or risking absolutely everything for perfection.
Exactly. And the really counterintuitive insight here is about how we handle that. Mathematicians built these incredibly complex optimal protocols to try and squeeze out maximum quality.
But the research found something different.
Way different. It turns out simple strategies actually outperform the complex ones in these systems. Things like the DEJMPS protocol, or even just a basic replacement policy where you literally just swap an old link for a fresh one.
So trying to be too perfect actually lowers the availability of the memory. Robust and simple beats optimal.
It's a huge aha moment for the field. Sometimes over-engineering is the enemy.
And honestly, that idea that simple beats over-engineered is a great pivot to our partner for this deep dive, Embersilk.
Yeah, if you are looking to streamline your own operations, Embersilk is who you want for AI training and automation.
They help you figure out exactly where AI agents can make a real measurable impact for your business without adding unnecessary complexity. You can check them out at embersilk.com.
And bringing it back to the quantum side, this isn't just theory anymore. We have already achieved heralded entanglement over distances past 10 kilometers.
Which means a synchronized global quantum internet is actually incredibly close to becoming a reality.
It really is. We are finally solving that timescale mismatch between fast light and slow matter, unlocking completely unhackable security in distributed computing. It is such an optimistic time for physics.
It's amazing. And, reading through all this, I was struck by one wild thought. If we can buffer these states, like catching a photon and holding its exact state in a diamond while the rest of the world just moves on, are we basically pausing time for that information?
That is a profoundly beautiful way to frame it. Locally, for that specific qubit, the clock effectively stops.
Man, that is something to mull over today. Well, if you enjoyed this deep dive, please subscribe to the show. Hey, leave us a 5-star review if you can. It really helps get the word out.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone.